first of all, everything that has come out this week about Trump, or everything I've read about Trump, or anything ever, it's all adding to my argument from last. Wait, I don't even know if I'm referencing this because did that episode come out already, or is it coming out after?
Yeah,
this?
It was earlier this week.
Okay, so it did. So
yeah.
Okay. So anyway, so this is everything is adding to my point. Anyway, you have Trump, who was released from the hospital on Monday, right? On Monday, walking around the White House, got a mask in the Oval Office where everyone else is, having no regard to the fact that he's still contagious and still positive. And then knowing that he probably won't be able to do a virtual, an in-person debate because he'll probably still be contagious.
Was that true though?
Huh?
Is that true though?
I mean,
like, isn't the debate going to be? It was supposed to be October 15th, right?
Yep.
Today is the 8th.
Okay.
When did he test positive?
That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying when did he test positive
or negative?
No.
When did he test positive? Oh, we don't know because first of all, the White House is refusing to release his last negative test, which is leading people to believe that he had it when he was at the debate last because they won't release that information.
Well, when was the last debate?
The last debate wasn't that last
September 30th?
Tuesday, or that was last week, right?
Okay, so Trump got a positive test October 1st, right?
Yeah. No.
Yeah. It was like okay. So why couldn't they?
So wait, is it?
Go ahead.
Is it proven science that you're only contagious for 2 weeks?
I don't know if it's proven science, but I'm pretty sure you are not contagious if you get 2 negative tests, right? Back to back.
Yeah, but he hasn't tested negative yet, has he?
No. So I'm saying is why not just push the debate back instead of the 15th? Just push it back to October 22nd. This way, so you push it back to October 22nd. It's 14 days from when Trump tested positive, which would be October 16th. This way, he'll have to test negative twice, which he most likely would do, and then you can have the debate a week after the 15th.
I mean, yes, they could do that, but why doesn't Trump also just do the virtual debate?
Here's why. Okay,
Shannon. Go ahead.
Number one, virtual stuff does suck. I mean, me and you have been doing virtual things since this started. Matter of fact, I would rather do this podcast in person instead of virtually. A, there's the lag. B, as we saw earlier, internet it can go haywire.
Yeah.
But the third reason, and I have to give credit to what credit is due, Dave Rubin, because he brought this up first. I didn't really think about this. A virtual debate, you give the other person the opportunity to use assistance that they wouldn't have in an in-person debate. So, Trump is on this big thing where he thinks Joe Biden is losing his mind. Now, I agree. I think Joe Biden is losing it. I think he is clearly taking some type of drugs to keep himself sane. And Trump probably is worried that if they do it virtually, A, Joe Biden can be assisted because you don't know who's behind the camera. You don't know who's doing what. 2, Dave Rubin brought this up that to do virtual debates, you have to have something in your ear that you can hear the other person, you can hear the moderator, you can hear it sounds. This might create the opportunity for somebody to be in Joe Biden's ear, give him information.
That is true.
Pushback to that would be Donald Trump would have access to the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? So you can also have somebody in your ear feeding you stuff, but he might think that gives him the edge that he believes he is more there than Joe Biden does. So that was one angle to this that I did not think about until I heard Dave Rubin say it, and I do think it's valid.
That is valid.
Yeah,
that is valid, but still, okay. So Trump doesn't want to do the debate, but they're not offering him any alternative debate days, or they're not pushing the debate back. It's definitely gonna hurt him, I think, if he doesn't participate because his last debate was a disaster.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard. Did you get the announcement about him doing this this radio program with Rush Limbaugh?
No, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, it was announced today that that Joe Biden is going to do a town hall by himself with.
Wait, yes, I did hear about that. Yes. I thought you were talking about Trump. Okay.
No, but Trump announced that he's going to do his radio-a-thon with Rush Limbaugh.
Oh, okay. No, so I didn't hear that part.
Yeah. So I mean, look, quite frankly, this is a conversation that we probably should have at some point on the usefulness of debates.
Okay. Yes.
I can make a strong argument that debates are actually more of a hindrance on our democracy than they are helpful.
How so?
Number one, debating is a skill, Shannon.
Yes.
Debating doesn't have anything to do with how intelligent you are. It doesn't measure intelligence. It doesn't measure how well of a leader you will be. It doesn't even measure how good of a negotiator you will be.
Unless you get on stage and start screaming at people like Trump did.
Yeah, but even then, like Trump, you can say about Trump, but I mean, Trump is a good negotiator when he wants to be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's done pretty good work with the leader of North Korea. He's, whether you agree with him or not, the whole peace stuff with the Middle East, I do think you owe some of that to Trump, although some to Jared Kushner, but Trump gets a piece of that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a good negotiator when he wants to be. But if you think about all of the skills you need to be a good president, none of them are measurable by debating.
Okay.
And so why?
But
go ahead.
But I mean, I understand that, but debating does help. It helps a lot of people. Like if people can sit there and listen to your platform and listen to your stance on certain things in a challenging environment, it does help, especially with the undecided population. So,
but does it help
maybe
them?
Overall, I mean, I know that it doesn't help. I know what you're trying to say, that it doesn't help you really determine how a person is going to do in certain positions, but I feel like it's the only way, really. I mean, maybe not. I guess town halls can do that too, but now that I'm thinking about it, I think you're right.
Like just an interview. Like, what if we had each candidate have to sit down for what debates are usually an hour and a half, 2 hours? Yeah, so you sit down on live TV for 2 hours with an interviewer from the opposite party for 2 hours, and you have to sit there and answer questions. This way, there's no crowd. The interviewer is opposite your political party, so they're going to be tough on you. They can hold you to account. You can't do all that slipping and sliding that Kamala and Pence did.
Yes.
Yes, like so once again, like we've become because debates are traditional, we think that they are necessary. But if you really like look at it objectively, I don't see how you're learning anything from these debates, because you said debates are a good way to learn about the candidate's platform. Me and you both admitted that we don't remember anything we heard last night between Pence and Kamala Harris.
I don't. That's true.
So how good are they at that?
That's true.
I think they're good for lying. I think I think they're good for being a good debater, right? It's like being a lawyer.
Yeah.
Lawyers go up there, they bend the truth, they omit things, they frame things in a way that is intellectually dishonest. But no one will say that lawyers are upstanding defenders of the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Politicians are right behind lawyers, as far as I'm concerned.
It's true. I mean, I agree with you. That is a good substitution to a debate if they were to ever go down that route. But people are very stuck in tradition. People are very stuck in tradition. So I don't know if that's going to happen. But either way, I still think it was a mistake for Donald Trump to completely omit the second debate.
He needs this more than Joe Biden, because Joe Biden's up by 9 points.
Yeah. If he had any hope of I feel like that's his only hope, really, of closing. If he was even going to attempt to close that gap, I feel like that was his only opportunity to do it.
Unless the gap is partially due to people not believing that he's himself, right? If people are believing this narrative that Donald Trump is sick and he can't do the job, then the gap could dissipate to a certain degree without the need of a debate if he just goes out in front of people and shows that he's back, right? So if he does this radiothon and he's speaking and people can hear, oh, he sounds pretty good. He sounds young. He sounds like he has vigor in his voice. Then the lead could dissipate back to what it was before, to like 6-7 points, because once again, he doesn't have to win he doesn't have to win the popular vote. Mm-hmm. All he has to do is win the electoral college. If he can show people that he's back, that he's good, that he's himself, that he survived the virus as a 70-year-old man. So what are you people afraid of? Like, if that's his narrative going forward,
it's a terrible narrative to run on.
Maybe. I mean, but Shannon, how afraid should we be of this thing?
I think you should be fairly. I mean, I don't think you should be terrified of it, but I think that you should acknowledge that it is a real threat to your health and life if contracted.
Which he did.
Did he?
Yeah, he said yes, it's serious, but he said don't let it control your life, don't let it take over you, don't let it dominate your life. Look, if anyone but Trump said that, would it be a bad thing to say?
But the thing is, though, He said, don't be afraid of it, and then continued, but he's still treating it like it's not a big deal. Like I said before, he went back to the White House. He's been in the Oval Office. He's been around without a mask. He's really actually treating it like it's not a big deal. He's not, and I know that last week you were like, you took it as we shouldn't let it dominate your life, but based on his activity and what he's doing, I think he meant it's not a big deal at all because he's 74 and he survived. So based on what he's doing, I feel like in his mind, he thinks that it's actually not a big deal.
All right, so I agree with you that is probably the proper interpretation of what Donald Trump is saying. Also, for those of you watching, you should take this seriously. Trump got the best care in the world. Like most of you out there, you ain't gonna get that. If you get sick, it is you and your immune system. Okay, that's what you got. When you go into these hospitals, they triaging. So if you are in an at-risk group, they ain't gonna be out here wasting their good medicine on somebody that they don't think is gonna give them a good 30 years of living. Yep. I'm sorry to tell you that. It's the truth. Okay? Don't think you're gonna get that same kid that Trump got at that place, because it ain't gonna happen.
You absolutely will not get
They're
that. Nothing close.
That nurse is gonna watch you cough yourself to the next life.
These experimental drugs that he's getting, you're not getting those.
No. But once again, I do think we need to, because see here, the right is downplaying the virus almost in a disrespectful manner. I agree with you there. Mm-hmm. The left, though, I think is engaging in a more in this panic, partly political, I think, meaning they know that the more noise they make about the pandemic, the worse Trump doesn't pose. But I think they're playing they're not viewing this the way they need to. Maybe it does ruin Trump's presidency, but then you have to convince the people after Trump's out of office to go back to normal life. If you scare people half to death, they're not going to be less afraid just because Joe Biden is the president. And so for me, like when you look at the news, people think that if they catch this thing, it's a death sentence, Shannon. And that's not the case.
That's not the case. And I'm not saying that people should think that way. That's not what I said.
The overwhelming majority, no, I'm not saying that you said that. But I'm saying that the news is presenting it. Like if I just saw the news, if I was an alien, I saw the news, I would think that I would think the death rate of COVID was almost as close to like Ebola. Like if you get Ebola, there's a 60% chance that you live, which means there's a 40% chance that you die. And that's true of any age range.
Is it 60-40? I thought it was greater than that.
I thought
Ebola had like a 97% mortality rate. Is that not true?
That is absolutely not true, Shannon. What's wrong with you?
Yes. Are you sure?
Yeah, positive.
Are you sure? Look those numbers up again.
Look it up. Look up Ebola mortality rate. I'm positive that's not the case.
We gotta figure this out real quick.
Go ahead. I'm gonna Google it. Hold on.
Ebola is my worst nightmare, by the way. That is what I'm afraid of the most.
You're not gonna get Ebola.
I know that. But when it came, when it was here briefly, that was the worst time of my life.
Let's see. 50%.
Wait, 50% mortality? That's it?
Yeah. Oh. From the World Health Organization, the average EBD case fatality rate is around 50%.
Oh yeah, I'm reading that too.
Yeah. Now you might have sort of it said it varied from
25 to 90
in past outbreaks. Yeah, but yes, it's 50%. So that's still worth a coin flip. If you get Ebola, there's a coin flip that your ass is out of here. Okay. Yes. If I was an alien, I would have assumed that the mortality rate for COVID was similar. The way the news coverage is going. That's my point with the Democrats. Yes, the message should be this disease is not the flu. It is worse than the flu. Stop saying it's the flu. It acts too crazy in ways that we never seen before.
Yep.
Which, by the way, I think is evidence that this did come from a lab, but that's a conversation for another day. It ain't the flu. Take it very seriously. Mask up whenever you are in a crowd of people or where you cannot socially distance.
Yep.
But if you catch this thing, there is a 99% chance if you are under the age of 50 and you don't have any pre-existing conditions, there's a 99.97% chance you're going to survive. It is not a death sentence because being worried and anxious, it lowers your immune system. So you're actually more likely to make complications for yourself if you're freaking out about this thing. So I think both sides are not painting the right picture about
No,
coronavirus.
no. I think there needs to be a good middle ground, which there is
Agreed.
not right now. But the way that the Trump administration is handling it is definitely not all right.
Agreed.
If
So
these crazy white people can come into Walmart and think that they can just be blowing in people's faces because the virus isn't real, that's a little crazy, and that's like not. No.
no, I
That's all
agree
I
with
have to say
you.
about that.
I totally agree. I totally agree. I also think this
Mm-hmm.
is just my last comment on this. Libertarians have been awful on this thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
I listen to a lot of libertarian, talk radio, podcasts. They have been treating this almost as if COVID is not even a real thing, or it's just like the flu. And I'm like, yo, you can be, because libertarians are super into rights and um uh personal and responsibility, which
Mm-hmm.
I support 100%. But like, you don't have to be shitting on masks or trying to portray this thing as if it's not serious, because it is extremely serious. And so I just had to throw that out there because I've been kind of shocked that libertarians being so stupid. I am like, this is insane.